Yo, 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 what up, y'all? This is your boy, King Shay Solomon. King Shay Solomon. We're back, man. We back with another video, y'all. So, today, what we're going to get into is a Scottie Pippen narrative, y'all. So, there's this narrative that Michael Jordan needed to uplift Scottie, and he needed to do all of this to Scottie. He had to uplift Scottie in 88, in 89, and 90. He was a guy who increasingly elevated Scottie's game, right? So, that's the bullshit narrative we got around Scottie. But here's the issue with that narrative, right? Scottie Pippen, and I always tell people this: Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan went 1-9 without Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan went at 3 consecutive losing seasons without Scottie Pippen. How the hell was Michael Jordan the guy who made Scottie Pippen? If anything, Scottie made Michael Jordan's career. Scottie Pippen has more wins as a Bull. He has more rebounds as a Bull, more assists as a Bull, more steals as a Bull, more blocks as a Bull, more regular season and playoff games as a Bull, more seasons played in totality as a Bull than Michael Jordan. But how the hell are these Michael Jordan or aka Zesty Jeffries, gonna continue to tell us and spread these lies, myths, and fucking propaganda that Scottie Pippen needed to be elevated. He was mentally weak, and he needed his game to be raised by another player that was actually, if you look at his all-around game, was worse, right? Obviously, Michael Jordan has better stats, accolades, and achievements than Scottie Pippen, right? So, yeah, obviously he's gonna be ranked higher than Scottie Pippen. Yeah, I have Michael Jordan in my top three. Scottie Pippen isn't even top 25 to me. But again, we're not talking about rankings. We're talking about skill set and career and what Michael Jordan needed to do to win, right? So Scottie Pippen, like what Scottie Pippen did to Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen was a better defender, was a better rebounder, was a better passer. He was a guy who was running the offense for the Bulls and triangle offense. He was the best defender on the Bulls, obviously in every single championship, and he was a defensive anchor, right? And he proved that he could score. He averaged 22, 7, and 7 without Michael Jordan, won 55 games, which is just two less games than they did the year before, even with Michael Jordan. And they replaced Michael Jordan with fucking I don't know, Pete Burns or whatever his name was. So that's what happened, right? So Scottie Pippen proved he could do all of that. He was considered the best all-around player of the '90s, like Phil Jackson said. Even Larry Bird said MJ and Scottie were the two best players in the league in '96. They had the two best players in the league in the '90s for a stretch. Even Chuck Daly said that about Scottie Pippen was the best all-around player of his era. So again, this sounds like another way of spreading zesty lies and rewriting history and proving that a lot of these dudes do not know the game of basketball. They don't at all. Because if they did, they would not have to keep spreading these BS and lies when we got better we got news, we got information, and we got facts from better basketball minds like Phil Jackson, like Chuck Daly, like Steve Kerr, like like even Michael Jordan himself. Like all these guys know way more basketball than all these other SCs, including the first three Hall of Fame head coaches. So, and they've actually played. They've either coached Scottie Pippen or played with Scottie Pippen. So I'm gonna take their word more than all these bullshit niggas who like don't know the game basketball, right? Another thing about Scottie Pippen was right. Scottie Pippen's game, he did not need to score 30 points. He did not. He could be the quote unquote second option. He was still the best all-around player of the team, but he could be quote unquote second option because he knew how to take a role to win. Scottie Pippen knew how to do he knew how to take roles to win because that was Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is not a selfish basketball player like number 23 on the Bulls was. He didn't need to take 30, 25, 20 shots to be effective. He could just average 20 a game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, be the best defender in the court, and be a top 3 defender in the league, and just do all that for the Bulls to win. He was the second best offensive player on Chicago Bulls teams who were consistently like the best offense in the league. On Chicago Bulls teams who were consistently the best defense in the league. They had the most well-rounded roster. So why does Scottie Pippen have to average all these shots when he has another shot chucker by the name of the bald-headed menace himself and Michael Jordan taking all the goddamn shots? Right? Scottie Pippen probably could do it himself. He even averaged 25 a game for like 2-3 months after in '94 and 2-3 months in 25 in '95. And this whole narrative that Scottie Pippen cried for Michael Jordan to come back in the middle of '95, he needed MJ to come back to make the playoffs. No, motherfucker, no, because they already had a winning record and a top 5 seed in the East. Because that's how weak the Eastern Conference was. That they could have no Horace Grant because by '95 Horace Grant was gone. He had signed with Orlando, right? They could have no Horace Grant. They could have a non-All-Star version of B.J. Armstrong, right? They could have a really young Tony Kukoc. They could have Phil Jackson. They could have like Steve Kerr. Like they could have all these younger pieces and all these guys, and they still were not well equipped to win. And Scottie Pippen could still lead them to a top 4, top 5 record in the Eastern Conference. And obviously, when you get your best player back, yeah, you're gonna look better. But the fact that Scottie Pippen was able to do all of that without Michael Jordan, think about it, yo. He could do all that without Michael Jordan. He could play on and off the ball without Michael Jordan. He could play with Michael Jordan and still be